Imagine two apartments side by side in the exact same neighborhood. In the first, the air smells of expensive candles and brand new leather. There's a 75-inch screen on the wall and a kitchen filled with gadgets that could rival a professional bistro. The person living here earns $95,000 a year. But if you could look past the decor and into their mind, you'd find a constant humming anxiety. They are exactly 2 missed paychecks away from losing it all. Every dollar they earn is already spoken for by the things they own. Now look at the second apartment. It's simpler. There is space to breathe. The furniture is high quality but minimal. The kitchen has exactly what is used and nothing more. This person earns $52,000, nearly half as much as their neighbor, yet they move through the world with a quiet, untouchable confidence. They have 18 months of expenses sitting in the bank and a growing portfolio of investments. They don't just have stuff, they have something far more valuable. They have options. The difference between these two people isn't a matter of luck or even math. It's a matter of philosophy. Today, we are going to deconstruct the invisible relationship between your possessions and your paycheck. Most people believe that to have more, you must earn more. But the true path to financial sovereignty is the opposite. To have more, you must want less. We're going to explore the 10 minimalist money rules that separate the truly wealthy from the merely high-earning. If you've ever felt like your money disappears into a black hole of lifestyle despite your best efforts, this is for you. Let's start with a concept that will fundamentally reframe every purchase you make for the rest of your life. Everything you own costs you money twice. The first cost is the one you see, the price on the tag, the swipe of the card. But the second cost is the hidden tax of ownership. This includes storage, maintenance, mental energy, and most importantly, opportunity cost. Think about that treadmill sitting in the corner of your spare room. You paid $1,500 for it. That was the first cost, but it takes up 20 square feet of space. In most cities, that's roughly $500 a year in implicit rent just to house a machine that mostly holds your laundry. Then there's the mental cost. Every item in your home is a micro drain on your attention. It needs to be cleaned, moved, repaired, or eventually disposed of. Science tells us that visual clutter increases cortisol, your stress hormone. Your stuff is literally stressing you out, and you're paying for the privilege. This brings us to Rule 1. Calculate the cost per use. Before you buy anything, I want you to stop and do a quick mental calculation. Don't look at the total price, look at the utility. A $200 jacket worn twice is a luxury at $100 per wear, but a $400 jacket worn 300 times, that's an investment at just over $1 per wear. This rule destroys impulse spending. That $30 kitchen gadget you use once a year isn't cheap, it's an incredibly expensive way to slice an avocado. Minimalists don't avoid nice things, they avoid low-value things. They invest in the mattress they sleep on every night and the tools they use every day, while ruthlessly cutting the one-off purchases that bleed a bank account dry. But what about the things you already have? Rule 2 is the replacement test. I want you to walk through your home this evening and look at your possessions with a cold, objective eye. Ask yourself, if this item disappeared tonight, would I spend my hard-earned money to replace it tomorrow? Be honest, would you really go back out and buy that bread maker, that specific pair of shoes? For most of us, the answer is no for at least 30% of what we own. Those items aren't serving you, they're just occupying space because of inertia. They are remnants of a past version of yourself that you've outgrown. When you keep things you wouldn't replace, you're essentially buying them every single day with your space and your peace of mind. Now, let's talk about the trap of newness. Rule 3, never upgrade out of boredom. We live in a culture designed to make you feel like your perfectly functional life is suddenly obsolete. Your phone works fine, but a new one came out. Your car is reliable, but the neighbor just got a Tesla.
This is wealth destruction disguised as progress. A minimalist defines functional very strictly. An item is functional until it can no longer perform its primary task. Boredom is not a reason to spend. Novelty is a drug with a very short half-life. If you replace your phone every 2 years instead of every 5 years, you're not just spending $1,000. You're losing the $40,000 that money could have become if it were invested over your lifetime. To combat this, we need Rule 4. Create friction for spending and ease for saving. Human willpower is a finite resource. It's highest in the morning and lowest at 9 p.m. when you're tired and scrolling on your phone. Don't rely on willpower, rely on systems. Delete the shopping apps, remove your saved credit card info from your browser, unsubscribe from the sale emails that create artificial urgency. Make it hard to spend. On the flip side, make it impossible not to save. Set up an automatic transfer the minute your paycheck hits. If you never see the money, you never miss it. You want your financial life to run on autopilot so that the right choice is always the easiest one. Rule 5. Count your possessions regularly. This might sound obsessive, but awareness is the enemy of accumulation. Pick a category, say your shoes or your coffee mugs. Actually count them. The number will almost certainly be higher than you guessed. When you know you own 47 shirts, buying the 48th feels different. It feels absurd. Minimalists often set caps on categories. I will own 20 hangers. If I want a new shirt, one of the old ones has to go. This one-in, one-out policy creates a natural barrier to lifestyle creep. It forces you to curate your life rather than just collecting it. As you begin to curate, you'll encounter the urge to buy into new hobbies or lifestyles. This is where Rule 6 comes in. Rent or borrow before you buy. We've all been there. You decide you're going to become a hiker, so you spend $800 on boots, a pack, and a tent, only to realize after 2 trips that you actually hate sleeping on the ground. Minimalists test drive their enthusiasms. Rent the gear, borrow the tools, use a community makerspace. This does 2 things. It saves you from museum-grade clutter in your garage, and it clarifies exactly what you need if you do decide to commit. You buy the right thing once rather than the wrong thing 3 times. This leads us into a deeper psychological trap known as the lifestyle multiplier effect, which is Rule 7. No purchase exists in a vacuum. When you buy a boat, you're not just buying a boat, you're buying a trailer, a hitch for your car, storage fees, insurance, and specialized cleaning supplies. This is the Diderot effect, where one new possession leads to a spiral of consumption to match it. Minimalists look at the ecosystem of a purchase. They ask, what else will this force me to buy? If the tail is wagging the dog, they walk away. Conversely, when you eliminate one major category, like a second car, you don't just save the car payment, you delete an entire ecosystem of stress and expense from your life. But how do you know when to stop? Rule 8 is define enough before you start earning. This is the most critical rule for anyone who wants to be truly wealthy. Without a definition of enough, your lifestyle will simply expand to consume your income. This is why people earning $500,000 a year still feel broke. They never set the finish line. Decide now what kind of house is actually sufficient for your happiness. What kind of car meets your needs without feeding your ego. If you define enough at a $60,000 lifestyle and your income grows to $100,000, you have $40,000 of pure freedom every year. If you don't define it, you'll just end up with a bigger mortgage and a fancier car, but the same level of stress. This shift in perspective allows you to follow Rule 9. Measure wealth by optionality, not accumulation. In our society, we've been trained to look at a person's house or watch to judge their success. But true wealth is invisible. True wealth is the ability to say no. It's the ability to leave a toxic job because you have a 2-year runway. It's the ability to take 6 months off to be with a sick parent. It's the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are untouchable by economic shifts. Every time you choose not to buy something, you are buying a piece of your future freedom. You are trading a physical object for a life option. Once you start valuing options more than objects, your bank account will begin to explode. Finally, practice cyclical decluttering. Minimalism isn't a destination, it's a maintenance schedule. You don't just become a minimalist and stop. The world is constantly pushing stuff into your life. You need a system to push back. Don't wait for a massive spring cleaning once a year. Do a mini review every month. Look at what has entered your home and what has stopped being useful. Catch the accumulation while it's small. This keeps your environment and your mind clear and focused on your goals. I want you to realize that these 10 rules aren't about deprivation. They're not about living in a white box with one spoon. They're about intentionality. When you stop spending money on things that don't matter, you suddenly have an incredible amount of money for the things that do matter. The person in that second apartment, the one